afternoon, everybody.
Hello.
I'm sorry, we got to try that again. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon, Moses.
Well, welcome, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us on this most important and beautiful day. I know that Eric and Emmy are thrilled to have so many of their friends and family join us today, and please know that you all play a very important role in not only confirming the union we are gathered here today to witness, but also in helping keep that bond strong and vital over the coming years. Before we start the ceremony, Emmy and Eric would like to pause to remember all those who cannot be with us here today, and specifically Harui Nakata, Emmy's grandmother, Therese Knudsen, Emmy's childhood caregiver, and Bobby Reeves, Eric's grandfather. If you would, please join me in a moment of remembrance to honor those and any other who may have passed from this earth. Thank you. Over the past couple of months, as I have thought about what I might say to mark this special occasion, I have looked at the experience I have gained by attending a lifetime full of weddings. In a pretty sizable chunk of those weddings, whether secular or religious, the homily has focused primarily on the institution of marriage. These speeches have covered the meaning and purpose of a marriage across various cultures, touched on esoteric subjects such as the etymology of the word marriage, and often contain a fair bit of fire and brimstone regarding the serious and permanent nature of the commitments to be made. I assure you that we will cover that during the ceremony today, but if you'll indulge me, I'd first like to cover a subject that is marginalized in a surprising number of these occasions, that is love. Perhaps it's counterintuitive, but in many cases, a wedding will focus so narrowly on the actual marriage itself that we often get cheated out of learning how the couple actually arrived at the altar in the first place. In trying to address this issue, I did a fair amount of research leading up to today, but honestly, I did not get a very clear picture from all the information that is floating around out there. I first turned to evolutionary science, which tells us that love is a vital tool in maintaining the family unit over a relatively long maturation process for human children. But almost immediately thereafter paints a picture of women and men being effectively opposites in terms of how their basic approach to love and romance are dictated by evolution. Fresh off of that failure, I then turned to my academic roots in psychology and neuroscience for a possible explanation of why we are here today. As it turns out, the chemical basis of love isn't exactly clear-cut. Research shows that the brain in love produces surges in dopamine, estrogen, testosterone, norepinephrine, serotonin, oxytocin, adrenaline, and vasopressin, among other neurochemicals. For those of you keeping score at home, that's pretty much every chemical that the brain naturally produces, so it's little wonder that love can be a very confusing thing. At any rate, there really doesn't seem to be a clear-cut answer there either. Next, I turned to our cultural traditions for an answer, but that wasn't a whole lot of help. I looked through my iPod and came up with a couple of songs, one being I Want a Girl Just Like the Girl That Married Dear Old Dad, and another entitled Opposites Attract. I dusted off my Bartletts for a few quotable platitudes, but literally the first two I came across were from the poet Alexander Smith, who gave us, "Love is but the discovery of ourselves and others, and the delight in the recognition," and the author Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, who countered with, "Perhaps love is the process of me leading you gently back to yourself." I was just about to give up on this whole exercise when it dawned on me that really, I'd learned all I needed to know to make this speech simply through having the privilege of observing Emmy and Eric as they have grown together over the past couple of years. Now, as many of you know, it has been suggested in some quarters that I am a bit of a cynic. However, I will let you in on a little secret. I firmly believe in the notion of love at first sight, regardless of what science, or some elements of pop culture, or perhaps even common sense may suggest. I did not have the opportunity to observe Emmy and Eric's first meeting. I did, however, witness their second. It was at a New Year's Eve party that Eric was hosting. Before the party, he did mention that he had met what might be a special lady friend one night at the Paramount Theater, though he was clearly doing everything in his power to avoid giving the impression that he was excited about it. Unsuccessfully, of course. I had been hanging out with Eric early on in the evening, doing my best to avoid helping him get ready for the party and making a significant dent in the roast beef that he had prepared, as well as his liquor cabinet as well. It was a nice little affair, but when the knock on the door came and Emmy arrived with her rather sizable entourage, I will swear to this day that the air in the room dramatically changed and became charged with a tangible element of excitement that simply had not been there before. And after watching Emmy and Eric interact with each other that night, a casual conversation here, a compliment on the food there, and what I will swear to this day was the worst played game of Dance Dance Revolution I have ever seen in my entire life. I was absolutely certain that we would be someday be here together celebrating their marriage. I don't want to give the impression that the path to this event has been completely smooth for Amy and Eric. As is the case with any relationship, there have been hurdles to clear, dragons to slay, storms to weather. And I cannot stress enough just how appalling the game of Dance Dance Revolution that they played was. The fact that they overcame that alone is a miracle in its own right. But as it turns out, my first instinct was right. We are gathered here today to witness the next step in the evolution of their relationship, the entry into the permanent bond of marriage. Amy and Eric, I will speak for all of us here and thank you for bringing us along for the ride and sharing this day with us. It could not happen to two finer people, and I know I am certainly richer for having you in my life. Thank you. Now that we have recalled how you arrive at this day, we ask you to declare your intent to enter into this union. Emmy, will you take Eric as your husband? Eric, will you take Emmy as your wife? Thank you. Now, while we are gathered here to witness Emmy and Eric's wedding day, the union that is being confirmed here today does not merely represent a bond between two people. A wedding is also an opportunity for the friends, family, and community to affirm their support of the couple, and for the couple to affirm their commitment in the greater context of membership in their families and community. The location that has been chosen for this day is significant, as it represents both a return to the roots of Emmy and Eric here in the Central Valley, and also has a strong connection to the homes that they have made in Oakland. Now, please rise as you are able, and join us in a call and response as we extend the support as a community to this couple on this very special day. Do all present here today affirm their support of this marriage and agree that these two individuals shall be joined in an unbreakable union? If so, please say, "We do."
We do.
Will all present here today support the couple in friendship, offer your counsel in times of distress, and celebrate with them in times of joy? If so, please say, "We will."
We will.
This union is sacred and should be respected by all. However, no union is perfect, and there will be times of challenge. Will all present here today pledge to help support Emmy and Eric when their union is challenged, and remind them of their love for each other and the vows that they will make today? If so, please say, "We will."
We will.
Thank you. Please be seated. Emmy and Eric have asked that we take this time to enjoy a pair of readings that will offer reflections on this special day. First, I'd like to ask Emmy's sister Mari to come up and read a selection entitled "And I Have You" by Nika Giovanni.
Good afternoon. And I have you. Rain is drops, the sun is shine, moon is beams that make you mine. Rivers have banks, sounds for shores, hearts have heartbeats that makes me yours. Needles have eyes, though pins may prick. Elmer has glue to make things stick. Winter has spring, stockings feet. Pepper has mint to make it sweet. Teachers have lessons, soup du jour. Lawyers sue bad folks, doctors cure. All in all, this much is true. You have me, and I have you.
And now I would like to ask Kyle Ingham to step forward and read a selection from The Return of the King by J.R.R. Tolkien.
Then the heart of Eowyn changed, or else at last she understood it, and suddenly her winter passed, and the sun shone on her. I stand in Minas Anor, the tower of the sun, she said, and behold, the shadow has departed. I will be a shield maiden no longer, nor vie with the great riders, nor take joy only in the songs of slaying. I will be a healer, and love all things that grow and are not barren. And again she looked at Faramir. No longer do I desire to be a queen, she said. Then Faramir laughed merrily. That is well, he said, for I am not a king, yet I will wed with the White Lady of Rohan, if it be her will. And if she will, then let us cross the river, and in happier days let us dwell in the fair Ithilien, and there make a garden. All things will grow with joy there, if the White Lady comes. Then must I leave my own people, man of Gondor, she said? And would you have your proud folk say of you, There goes a lord who tamed a wild shield maiden of the north. Was there no woman of the race of Numenor to choose? I would, said Faramir. And he took her in his arms and kissed her under the sunlit sky. And he cared not that they stood high upon the walls in the sight of many. And many indeed saw them and the light that shone upon them as they came down from the walls and went hand in hand to the houses of healing.
Thank you. I believe this is the first time in my entire life I've actually had to adjust the microphone down after speaking. There are a few symbols in our society that are as powerful as a wedding ring. It serves not only as a reminder to the couple of their unbreakable commitment to each other, a commitment that stands in perpetuity and that is of greater importance than any other that may be made, but also as a reminder to the community of the role that we have all committed to play in the enhancement and preservation of this union. The selection of rings is also a reflection of the values of each couple, and Emmy and Eric have chosen rings crafted by an independent artisan and containing only conflict-free materials. Emmy, will you please present your ring to Eric and affirm its role in this marriage? Please repeat after me.
No.
Please repeat after me. With the blessing of this community,
Blessing of this community,
I give you this ring
I give you this ring
so that you may always remember
so that you may always remember
our love and union forevermore.
our love and union forever.
Eric, will you please present your ring to Emmy and affirm its role in this marriage? Please repeat after me. With the blessing of the community,
With the blessing of the community,
I give you this ring
I give you this ring
so that you may always remember
so that you may always remember
our love and union forevermore.
our love and union forevermore.
Thank you. Eric and Emmy, you have had the opportunity to join with us today and affirm your understanding of the institution of marriage, its role in the community, and the expectations of all here going forward. Now it is time, through the exchange of vows, to affirm what this union means to you and to each other. Eric, will you please share your personal commitment to Emmy with all those present?
Amy, on this day, I pledge my life to you. I promise to be a good husband and partner to you, to be kind, patient, and loving, to support you in all your endeavors, and to grow with you as we build our life together. And as we build that life, I will do my best to build it in the image of the majestic tree that stands behind us today. I will be the trunk of that tree, supporting and strengthening you as we grow together. And you will be the limbs and leaves of the tree, branching out and blossoming as you're an ever more amazing and beautiful person. And our love for each other will be the roots of the tree. Whatever winds and storms life throws our way, our love will be the thing holding us fast to the ground, allowing us to weather the storms and come out stronger in the end. I love you, Amy, and I look forward to spending the rest of my life with you.
Thank you. Emmy, will you please share your personal commitment to Eric with all those present?
Eric, I'm so happy that we finally made it to this day. Do you remember how we used to talk about sitting on the patio and growing old together? That was my first inkling that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with you. Eric, on this day, I pledge my life to you. I vow to be your partner and to support our journeys ahead. I promise to listen, to help, and to be loving. I look forward to sharing great happiness, just like today, and hopefully many more with you. The path we build will turn, depending on whatever life sends our way. The path may even temporarily stop, so I'm confident that our path will reemerge. Whatever the path that lies out in front of us, I'm happy to be on that patio, standing next to you, observing and building our life together.
Thank you. You may now seal your union with a kiss. In the witness of this community, we now recognize the union. Ladies and gentlemen, Emmy and Eric. Ladies and gentlemen, please join us back at the lodge for a cocktail hour and our reception. Thank you very much.